one thing I know a lot of us who watched the All-Star game last night were a little taken aback at, and I have to admit, when there wasn't a moment's silence for Tony Gwynn initially in the game, my first reaction was, okay, they were going to do something like like you sometimes see at the Oscars, right? There was the seventh inning. There was going to be, Major League Baseball lost a dear friend, and of course there's Don Zimmer. There's a every year there's 4 or 5 or 6 individuals, and I thought, okay, so they're going to do some sort of seventh inning tribute, which is going to be good, and they didn't. And whatever people may say about Major League Baseball, Chris, they generally get the tone right at these things. They generally get the tone right when they do tributes at All-Star games. That was really an oversight, wasn't it?
I believe so. I mean,
well, you played with Tony as well.
and I had the opportunity to meet Tony last year, and obviously around that locker room, around that organization in San Diego, it's even magnified in terms of what he is to baseball, and he's Mr. Padre. So yeah, I think it was a little disappointing. Absolutely. And you say baseball usually does do things well in terms of that. All sports do. You tend to get people recognized that deserve to be recognized, and it's very unfortunate because as a San Diego Padre and as a member of that family and as a huge Padre fan, it was tough because the other two guys that represented the Padres in Houston Street and Tyson Ross, they didn't get in the game. So, yeah, it's a tough one to handle. I think 15 All-Star games for Tony and Hall of Famer. I mean, I think he deserved a little bit better than that.
Yeah, and I know that during the home run derby, Chris Berman and John Kruk, they had a real nice discussion about Kruk, of course, a former teammate of Gwynn's, and Berman, somebody who knew Gwynn for a long time when Berman, as a TV reporter, he and Tony had a lot of chances to talk. So that was nice. It was a nice tribute and sort of a personal tribute from John Kruk as well. I know Adam Jones had a tribute to Tony Gwynn as well. But yeah, I was kind of surprised, that there wasn't something done. I know Tony Gwynn Jr. apparently was asked about it by a couple of reporters in Philadelphia, and he said, actually, they did ask my mom to come to the game, and she said she really wasn't ready to do it yet. So I'm wondering if maybe they didn't have something. Again, I'm not going to do baseball's bidding for him, but I wonder if maybe they didn't have something planned, and when Tony's wife decided she didn't want to go, maybe they just kind of decided, what, if we're sort of in between here, we don't know what we're doing, maybe we shouldn't do anything. But it just seems, God, to lose a guy like Tony Gwynn. I mean, I can remember the big deal we made about it in this show. For 2 days, it's all people were talking about.
Even the mention of him, there was, it wasn't mentioned on the broadcast. It was, that was the real disappointing part, I thought, of the night. For a night that was pretty special, that was the one kind of flaw I felt